Welcome to Pumping Station 1. We'll head into our first area. This is our lasers and 3D printing lab. We have 3 CO2 lasers. The Boss and the Universal are both 150 watts, and the Epilogue is a 35 watt desktop model. The Boss can take up to a 4-foot square piece of material. We have a Jaguar 2 vinyl cutter here, 24 inches wide, along with the computer that powers it. We keep small pieces of wood, acrylic, and cardboard scrap in these drawers here for use on the lasers, and all our 3D printing filament is kept in this rack. Over in these shelves we have a Form 3 resin printer, 3 Prusa 3D printers, and 2 Ender 3D printers. The room also has a pull-down projector screen and 2 loudspeakers on the ceiling, along with 2 general-purpose work computers and a couple of tables. From the lasers lab, we'll enter into our kitchen. The kitchen area has a full-service bar. This bar is equipped with an RFID access microcontroller powered dispensing handle, and the top lid is hinged at the back here, so the entire thing opens up, and there's a large fridge on the inside that we can fit a keg into. On the back wall here are a bunch of beer brewing supplies. We have a general interest group called Beer Church at Pumping Station, where we occasionally host beer making classes. The rest of the kitchen area consists of a commercial electric hood, along with an electric range and flat top grill, a bunch of kitchen supplies, commercial sink, and some preparation areas. We'll head into the general area next. The general area is a place for you to finish your projects. There's a series of work tables, some salvage areas for unknown things, and membership storage opportunities. If you choose to join us as a member with storage, one of these lockers is available for your use. You see a couple of Fisher-Price cars hanging from the ceiling, and over here on one of the workbenches, you'll see a car that's currently under construction. This is for the Power Racing series, that was founded at Pumping Station in 2009 and has since become a national organization. We modify Fisher-Price electric vehicles and go racing. Anyone is able to join. From the general area, we'll move into small metals. Small metals is where we work on jewelry and metal casting on a small scale. The area recently acquired a lapidary machine for polishing gems. It consists otherwise of an acetylene torch, a kiln, a fume hood that we're still building out, some rollers, a jeweler's bench, and various pieces of jewelry making equipment. We'll leave small metals and enter into the cold metals working area. This area here was recently reconfigured for working with sheet metal. It consists of a foot-powered shear, a couple of sheet metal brakes. Come over here into cold metals. We have a surface grinder, a bench grinder, and a bench sander. Come over here into this area. We have our Johnson horizontal bandsaw. Here's a sheet metal brake. And we have some roll and bending forming equipment over here. This is our dual vertical bandsaw for working with metal. I have a couple of metal working drill presses, a wall full of screws, nuts, bolts, and gauge pins for your use. We put scrap pieces of steel and aluminum over here. Under this tarp is a 15-inch lapping machine for flattening and polishing metal. We have 2 metal working lathes, a large LeBlond and a smaller Clausing. The LeBlond is an online training course in our Canvas learning management system software. Canvas is an open source competitor to the more popular Blackboard system used at many institutions of higher education. Moving farther into cold metals, we see our Bridgeport 3-axis milling machine with digital readout. We have this filing cabinet here full of end mills for your use. Personal computer here, and in this box is a Shapeoko 3-axis desktop CNC machine. Farther into cold metals, we find our Tormach 3-axis CNC machine. We have the 10-tool automatic tool changer and the flood coolant cooling system for use. This is normally used for cutting aluminum, steel, and stainless steel. This is also an online training course in Canvas, and then you sign up for an in-person training session one-on-one with an authorizer later on. We'll head out of cold metals and into our dock. So in the loading dock, we have two powder coating ovens, a small one and a large one. The large powder coating oven can accommodate approximately a medium to large size bicycle frame. The draw door is completely fully functional. And over here we have our spray booth. And this is used for applying varnish or paint to any project that you have, with explosion-proof lights and exhaust that goes out through the ceiling. Leaving the dock, we enter our wood shop. In the back corner is our ShopBot 3-axis CNC router. This can take a full 4-foot by 8-foot piece of sheet stock like MDF or plywood, but is also suitable for cutting plastic and hardwood. We've made everything from musical instruments to loudspeakers on this machine, so let your creativity flow. On the back wall here is a panel saw like you'd find at the big box stores. Bring your sheet stock in through the door, straight onto the saw, cut it up to rough dimensions, then take it elsewhere in the shop to get to final dimensions. This is our dust collector. Goes all the way to the ceiling. 2 bins, 2 filters, hooked up to automatic blast gates on all of the tools. So you turn the tool on and the dust collector turns on with it. Turns off automatically after a couple of minutes if there's no subsequent use. It's housed within a soundproof and fireproof cabinet that was designed and built by the membership. The rest of the wood shop consists of a 20-inch drum sander, 16-inch planer, 8-inch jointer, and a Delta bandsaw, vintage piece of equipment that was completely refurbished by one of our volunteers in-house, from the bearings to the wheels. We have our sliding compound miter saw station right here. And under our shelves here that are used for temporary storage of member projects, we have a downdraft table for conducting hand sanding. There's a supplementary vacuum in here that pulls the dust downward. A router table, an oscillating horizontal belt sander, an oscillating spindle sander, and the multi-router. The multi-router is a hand-working jig that holds a powered small router that allows you to cut repeating mortise and tenons accurately. It takes a while to set it up, but once it's set up, you get to make the same cut many times. We also have, for storage opportunities, our plywood rack. On the right-hand side is where we keep offcuts of scrap material that are free to use for whatever project you'd like. On the left-hand side is temporary sheet stock storage for members. Over here is our drill press. All our wood clamps are on the wall. Our table saw push handles and other wood cawls and clamps live over here. We have our saw stop table saw with the extension table and outfeed table. This is the saw that won't cut your fingers off. Over here at the end we have battery powered drills, handheld routers, biscuit joiners. All of our drill bits and screwdriver bits live over here. And in the back corner is a robust Sweet 16 woodworking lathe with its own separate dust collection system. We've also recently added a small pen working lathe over here in the corner. Finally, we have some basic hand tool storage such as hand planes and chisels that are kept in this area of the shop. Leaving the wood shop, we enter hot metals. This is the area where flames are used to work with metal. We start with our sandblasting cabinet, which can take, as with the powder coater, a medium to large size bicycle frame. We enter into hot metals. You can see 2 MIG and TIG welders here on the wall, along with their gas cylinders. A chop saw for cutting up steel, 1 welding table, and another welding table with lights above them, along with all the shielding curtains to keep people safe. This is a pneumatic power forming hammer that is used for forging. that is located right next to our forge with rooftop mounted exhaust and the gas that powers it. This is a vacuum forming machine that forms molded plastic over a form. We provide all the personal protective equipment you need to get started in welding, including welding helmets and welding jackets. Our 2 powder coating guns live over here on the shelf. We also have a couple of powered sanders here for use with metal. Finally, we move to the back of the shop and we find our plasma cutter. This can take another 4 foot by 8 foot piece of sheet metal and cut it out. Leaving hot metals, we enter our lounge. So the lounge is where we hang out in non-COVID times. We conduct presentations here. There's a motorized presentation screen along with a projector here on the ceiling and seating capacity for roughly 20 people. The lounge is currently being redesigned and re-envisioned with a seating area. The bar will be put back here and the seating will be rearranged. We also recently purchased a Xerox multifunction printer that is hooked up to our network, so now you can print from anywhere in PS1. Leaving the lounge, we'll go back to the main entrance and we'll head upstairs. At the top of the stairs, you'll see our Epson 9800 photographic printer. This can print up to 44 inches wide and utilizes roll paper on the back. We supply various grades of roll paper and ask for a small donation to compensate, and you can also bring in your own roll paper and load it up into the printer. To the right here is our electronics lab. Everything from power supplies, variable transistors, variable transformers, testing equipment, soldering supplies, passive and active electronics components, reference material. It's all here for you to learn how to do electronics. We also have another projector, a presentation screen, and a whiteboard here. Enter into our 2D arts area. We have a computer here with a large flatbed scanner and imaging software, 3 industrial sewing machines. This computer has a Wacom tablet touchscreen on it. Various arts working supplies. We have a heat press, an embroidery machine, paper making equipment, more supplies over here. And finally, we'll enter into the back area and our catwalk. So here on the catwalk, this is a community server rack. You can bring your own server, install it here, and run it at PS1 if you want to learn. The catwalk otherwise consists of member storage opportunities on all of these shelves. If you join us as a member with storage and one of these shelves is available, you can elect to have one of these rather than any of these boxes down here. At the end of the catwalk is a large glass and mat cutter.